This is Brandon Phoenix, a.k.a. I Also Hate Pitt, joined by my brother,
Jeremy J. and Phoenix in the building, the booth.
We are the Raspy Voice Kids. This is the Raspy Voice Podcast. You are now tuned into Why We Hate, a special edition, specifically for Maryland. We are talking to those Terrapins. What are we talking about? Well, let's start with this. Strong deeds, gentle words. You better buckle up because ain't nothing gentle about this ride.
Let's go.
We get into it. Y'all called the old line state. So boring.
Hold on. Old line state?
The old line state. So boring, so lame. Nobody cares, nobody likes it. We are the mountain state, the great state of West Virginia. Almost heaven, baby. You don't act like you don't know because you are well acquainted with who and what we are. Ugly, ugly flags. That's what we know about Maryland. You guys have an ugly flag, but it's not just ugly. It's not even Confederate, which is the worst flag you can have. Traitors, weak, losers. But you are tied to the Confederacy. Not everybody knows that. You are tied to the Confederacy through your flag, which doesn't even make any sense because you're Maryland, the old line state. Stupid. But here we are. So the question lingers, what does UMD have in common with the Confederates, Jeremy? What do they have in common?
I don't know.
They're both losers.
Wow.
100% losers. It makes sense your hideous uniforms are tied to that flag because that's who and what you are. You can't escape it. And it makes sense that you're tied to Under Armour, a very second tier, maybe even third tier sports brand. Whack. Do I have to tell you that? Weak sauce. We have more wins as a university in football. We have more bowl appearances as a university in football. We've got a better win percentage. What better win percentage? Let me make sure it's not plural. We've got more conference titles, more weeks in the AP poll. We've won 9 of the last 10. We won the first, and when we play again, we'll win the last. Don't get it twisted. Please understand who and what you're dealing with at this time, at this juncture, as they say, the erudite might say. Our mascot is always top ranked. Where do you rank the Terrapin? Nobody talks about the Terrapin. If it wasn't for Scott Van Pelt, nobody would even know about the Terrapin. And what is a Terrapin, Jerry? Do you know?
I'm assuming it's a turtle.
Terrapin means little turtle in Algonquin. You're not even a regular turtle. You certainly aren't a big dog
You're like
turtle.
a half
You're
J.
not a snapping turtle. You are a little turtle. You dudes,
Franklin over here.
Gum.
Franklin over here.
You are Franklin right here. You are small, stupid, and slow as a football team. And it makes sense. That's why you're called the Terrapins. Please don't ever come to us talking about who and what you are because we know already. We peeped you from the start. We've been new. And it's time for y'all to get reacquainted with the real university, West Virginia.
The gold and the blue. Thought you were going to finish it like that. That'd have been real strong.
Hey, you did it for me.
I'm so happy to be back in the building. I'm so happy for it to be football season. But what I'm not happy about is playing Maryland. Brandon, you remember so many, we must protect this house.
Garbage.
And Maury's results showed that was a lie. And we're going to get it, and we're going to get into it, Maryland. I got stats. I'm going to drop stats on you because your program is garbage. Your team, garbage.
Yep.
Your school colors, garbage.
Yep.
Your mascot, garbage.
Yep.
You'll see. Hey, you don't believe me now? Wait 1 second. I'm going to get to you. First things first. This West Virginia-Maryland rivalry? Can we really call it a rivalry?
I don't call it a rivalry.
Let me tell you, nobody in West Virginia hates Maryland like that. We didn't like Ralph Friedgen, Scotty McBride going to you. We didn't like that. But other than that, don't nobody care about Maryland. Maryland is not relevant enough. They're not good enough. They don't win enough. You want to talk about basketball? When you used to say Maryland coming into basketball, people get hyped. Maryland and Duke. That's not happening anymore.
It's over.
Last time y'all came and saw us, what happened? Melo Trimble, the golden child. We taught that boy what was up in the 3rd round of the NCAA. We humbled him like you should humble yourself. This rivalry? Okay, maybe if you want to look at it for like an obtuse angle, it's 28-22, which we are winning. You're behind. You can't get on our level, and we're still beating you. But if you want to look even more, we beat you 9 of the last 10 times you brought your pathetic program to Morgantown. Actually, not just Morgantown, 9 of 10 times, period. Who's your rival? In football, who's your rival? And I promise you, I hope you guys not in your mind saying Penn State. Lord Jesus, help me. Please don't say Penn State.
Please don't say it.
Brandon, Maryland did not beat Penn State in the 60s. They beat them one time in 1961. For the rest of the 60s, they didn't beat them. They didn't beat Penn State in the 70s. They didn't beat Penn State in the 80s. They didn't beat Penn State in the 90s. That's right, Brandon, they played 44 times. 2 head-to-head, quote-unquote, rivals. You know how many times Maryland's won?
Once?
3 times out of 44 games. It's not a rivalry. They're not your rival. You can't get, both teams have to win for it to be a rival. So who's your rival? You want me to tell you who your rival is? It's Rutgers. You laugh, Brandon. Go look at
State University of New Jersey. That's a rival.
I know you don't pay attention to Maryland, so you don't know this. They consistently split games in football. I'm not talking about lacrosse. In football to Rutgers University. It's back and forth. A win here for them, win for Rutgers. You're splitting games with Rutgers, man. And it's not just that. Look at your last 10 years. You lost to Temple 2 years in a row, 2018 and 2019.
The Owls?
Do they even play football?
In Philadelphia?
2 times in a row. You lost to Rutgers many times over the past 10 years, and I'm going to hit you with this, Brandon.
Let's hear it.
Guess what team from Cabell County whipped them in the Military Bowl?
Please don't tell me it was
Brandon,
Marshall.
hey, that Thundering Herd. Marshall got you. Your wins and losses, your program in general, look at it. It's garbage. It's in shambles. You can't hold on to anything. Your rival is now Rutgers. The other thing that's funny is you're not just garbage against those teams. You're garbage in the Big Ten, period. You've one time, and your whole time being in the Big Ten, have you made it to 500 in conference games? And that was the first year you were in there. Since then, you've only won 3 games. You haven't won more than 3 games in the conference. Garbage. And don't forget, there's a bunch of garbage schools in the Big Ten like Indiana.
Yes.
And yet you can only muster up 3 wins total over the past, 9 years? Are you serious? What about your last 10 years period? I'm going to read you. Last year, 2-3, 3-9, 5-7, 4-8, 6-7, 5-9. Oh, excuse me, 3-9. You did have 2 good years, 7-6, and that's when you had that boy Stephon Diggs, who's doing big things in the NFL. But the best you could do with Stephon Diggs was 7-6.
7-6.
And one of those years, you lost to us and Marshall.
Us and Marshall, West Virginia.
That's your golden. That is the best record you've had in the past 10 years is 7-6. And yet you had the nerve to fire Ralph Regent.
Why you fire that fat man?
Yeah, they didn't want him. They thought grass was green on the other side. I understand the one year he was 2-10. You went 9-4 in 2011, and you fired that man. Why? Because you thought there was something better. And since then, what have you done?
Nada.
Nothing. Zilch. It's ridiculous. Y'all made this leap. Absolutely pathetic because you ain't won nothing since you fired that man. What you should have fired him for, if you're going to fire him, you should have fired him for not recruiting Owen Schmidt.
Or for dropping Steve Slayton.
Yes, but this ain't your part of the conversation.
It's not.
So as I set up the dominoes, don't just push them down.
That's true. That's true.
What you should have fired him for is rescinding Steve Slayton's contract.
100%.
Or offer. Or most importantly, you should have fired him because Steve Slayton found out that he no longer had a scholarship from a reporter who called him.
Now, how is that reasonable?
No, that represents your whole school right there. That little scenario, your whole school, ballsless. Letting a reporter call Steve Slayton and not tell him yourself? Your whole program is garbage and ridiculous. And I'm tired of it. Y'all gonna be delusional. You're not the team that you once was. Hey, look, big ups to you. You made it to the Big Ten. Great for you. What have you done since then?
Spent a lot of money.
That's what I'm saying. You can't compete. You absolutely can't compete. And when it comes around, we're going to show you that the Mountaineers don't play. You're actually right now, you're just like, we must protect this house. Under Armour, who's going down. They're following the same path as their university. That's right, the owner is from Maryland. I know you know that, but I'm saying 2018, what happened to Under Armour? $1.3 billion of merchandise that wasn't sold. Look them up. They're going down. Just like your university, just like your jerseys, all garbage. We're going to show up at College Park. We're going to show up real, and we're going to show you why this is not a real rivalry and why, hey, as you collect them dollars for the Big Ten, you're not going to be relevant in football or basketball.